Congratulations, you're halfway there. We're sure you have garnered a ton of startup nuggets and are already thinking of ways to utilize the templates in your own new private practice. Well, that was just the warm-up. Module 3, the What You Say module, is where we really start getting into the meat and potatoes of this course. Here is where the hard work you put into yourself, your niche, your target market, your branding, your business really starts to pay off. Now, because of all that hard work, you'll be getting those client inquiries. Now is the point where you start to make some money. Or at least you will if you'll be able to put into practice the skills we are about to discuss. This is where we support you through your initial sales call, how to close the sale on potential clients, and even more efficiencies to run the well-oiled machine of your private practice. I'm going to pass it over to Mike now for a more extensive overview of the email communications we're providing for you through the initial contacts with potential clients.
The emails template is a big one. It contains just under 30 emails from the first call until the end of a mediation. It may be the most valuable item in your entire toolkit. I'm going to walk you through some of the key emails that you'll find in the first section, subtitled Before They Decide. The fourth and final module will take you through steps after they've decided and the process has begun. The first email models your first interactions, inviting them to schedule a free consultation. We're going into that in more detail shortly, right after this overview. We can skip over the next few emails, numbers 2 to 5, that provide samples of how to respond to unique inquiry situations. Email number 6 responds to inquiries about your fees, followed by number 7, which describes the detailed refund policy. Of course, you'll revise the wording to fit your own payment model, but make sure you've got something in writing so you don't have to invent it anew each time someone asks. Number 8 is used a whole lot and is worth mentioning here in some detail. That's about the strategy for making contact with the second party when time has gone by after you've met with the first person and the second one hasn't reached out. It's an email that addresses client number 1, that is, the person who called first, in the top half. The bottom part of the email is an invitation to the other party to book a free call. We're going to discuss this more fully and show you a sample in a few minutes. And we get a little more pushy in email number 9, which describes Plan B. It's an email to your first caller asking them to give you contact information for the hesitant second party and promising you'll reach out to the hesitant second party provided the first party informs them so they know who you are and your call won't arrive out of the blue. All of this up to now has just been getting to the actual sales call, or often plural calls. The bulk of this What You Say module deals with your interaction during these calls, how to respond to resistance, but we'll jump over that one for now. Number 10 is the email you send after you've had a free conversation with both potential clients and you're willing to work with them. It asks for a decision. And then the final email in this undecided stage is sent after the free consultation call, inviting them to sign on or ask further questions.
One of the struggles of working virtually or from home is that you may not want to give out your personal phone number, but gone are the days of the landline, so what do? You could consider, obviously, investing in a second number, a landline. We really like a VoIP or a voice over IP, or our personal favorite, something like RingCentral. RingCentral is a cloud-based communications platform that lets businesses send and receive calls and texts across multiple devices, and more importantly, hides your personal phone number. There are tips to that, you guessed it, in your toolkit.
When it comes to telephone inquiries, thanks to the frequency of spam calls, we tend to screen our calls and not answer unless a name pops up in the visual display. If it is a real inquiry, they usually leave a message. When you answer the phone or call them back, speak clearly and be upbeat. Remember, you may be speaking with a highly emotional person, and the product you're selling is reassurance that there is a way through and that you can help guide them there. The topic of separation may be dark and heavy, but your message absolutely should not be. Moving on, although many folks reach out by phone, most will probably start with an email inquiry. It is crucial to respond promptly to initial questions. Be clear, brief, and reassuring in your email responses. Avoid going down the rabbit hole of volunteering additional information. Instead, focus on getting them to book a free consultation with you, because remember, it's the empathy in your tone of voice that builds connection, not the information. We have a range of email templates in the toolkit that you can use to invite potential clients to schedule a free session using your online scheduler app. Otherwise, you will need to create an email form reply of your own if you are going back and forth with emails trying to schedule a time. The email template should include a polite and welcoming tone, briefly highlighting the benefits of the consultation and how it can help them navigate their options. As mentioned above, we encourage you to suggest to the initial point person to invite the second party to be present during the session, as this will help to simplify the process. Although that really is up to the client and their preferences. With higher conflict files, you'll likely be making 2 separate sales calls.
In my experience, most clients prefer to have their own sales call, especially with higher conflicts, as Amanda just said. However, a joint one can still be offered and is, quite frankly, preferred from a cost-time perspective of the mediator. As we mentioned in the overview, the second person is frequently hesitant to meet. Don't be surprised by that. In that case, though, ask the first person for their advice on the best way to make contact. But please let the first person know that they should not try to do it or convince the other person to hire you. That may look like they actually have an alignment or a bias with the mediator. Only ask for the other person's name at this stage, not their contact information. Then use the format of email number 8 in the template of emails. It's the image you're seeing on your screen right now, which Mike mentioned earlier. Notice it is in 2 parts. First, thanking one person for meeting with you already and asking them to forward the email of the other party. The second part of the email then invites the other party to meet with you on their own. If the second person hasn't made contact within a week or so, connect again with the first person. Ask them at this time for contact information for that second person and tell them you're going to reach out to the other one yourself. If you're going to do that, though, make sure the first person tells the second one that you'll be calling, so it won't come as a total surprise. Whatever happens with the hesitant person, follow up to inform the first person whether you were able to reach them or not. You won't reveal what was said, of course, that's confidential, but this brief follow-up is evidence of your reliability and commitment to their file.
Just before heading into the sales call itself, I want to loop back to stress the importance of using an online scheduler like Calendly, the app we mentioned in Module 1. The system is so efficient, so effortless, you will sometimes get notifications in your inbox that an appointment has been set up without having received any prior contact. The app will provide you with the person's email address or phone number, or both. We actually suggest setting yours up where clients are required to input their email address and phone number. When the notification arrives, send a confirmation email to welcome and thank them for scheduling the session. Respond to their inquiry on the same day, no matter how busy you are. If they've scheduled a telephone conversation rather than a video conference, send a text or email to ask if it's okay to switch the call to a video format. Most people agree to the switch, and Zoom is far superior to telephone for making a connection that builds trust. Calendly costs about $20 a month and saves hours and hours of time going back and forth with emails about what your availability is. With an online scheduler, you just let the client know how to set it up themselves. You get notifications in your inbox about any new meetings or cancellations, and it shows up in your Google Calendar, along with the Zoom link or telephone number. For me, it has been a lifesaver. Although you might be tempted to wait until your business gets a little busier to make this investment, I think of it as a form of advertising, since it sends a message to potential clients. Hey, this person is pretty professional to be set up with this technology. They must be doing well. You'll see a great video tutorial link in your toolkit, back in Module 1. Okay, now that we've covered how to get clients to make the call, let's dive into how to make that free consultation call a success.
Before we provide you with a role play of a free consultation call and role play some responses to resistance when the call goes sideways, which it may occasionally do, we'd like to give you an overview of the basic components of the free consultation call, at least the format that we recommend. And let me tell you, this comes out of dozens or maybe hundreds of hours of trial and error. The model we recommend is quite targeted. Years ago, I used to begin with a broad, open-ended, tell me your story kind of approach, and found things frequently drifted sideways. But we've only got 30 minutes and a lot to cover in this free call. We want to find out if they're a good fit for your practice and to ensure that they're able to make a fully informed decision. We've learned that a more directive, structured approach gathers the required information while getting the message across that this is an empathetic, yet focused and time-sensitive process. Of course, the model we're walking you through over the next few images looks more orderly than it ends up being. The reality is always a little more messy and organic, and you've got to be ready to pivot, adapting where the conversation goes in response to the answers you're getting.
Let's look at step 1, the welcome and overview of the call. This is pretty straightforward. Essentially, you are setting the expectations of the call as well as the tone. This is your first opportunity to begin building rapport. Remember, your clients will likely have heightened emotions and will look to you to be a calm and informed mediator. We do that by reassuring them that this is just an information call, that no decision about whether to move forward is expected today. In the first part of the call, you'll be asking them for a high-level overview of their situation and their goals. This will help you describe in the second part of the call how your services can be tailored to meet those needs. Don't forget, as with every step in the mediation process, including the sales call, you are always screening. Mike will often say this out loud. Hey, in a sense, we're here to vet one another. I'm here to find out if this is a case that fits my skill set, and you're here to determine if this process and my approach suit your situation. This is the first part of the sales call.
The image you're seeing here just shows a list of the topics you'll want to cover in an understanding of their current situation. The full text in your toolkit includes questions you could ask to elicit answers in each of these topics. For example, for children, are there dependent children? How many? What ages? Show interest, ask their names. Remember, you're here to build rapport and trust. To find out about their residence, for example, you could ask, do you own or do you rent? Do you currently live together? If not, how long have you been living apart? Employment is another important subject. Are you both employed? Are you self-employed? Are there workplace pensions? What about marital status? How long have you been together? How long apart? Are they legally married or common law? That's really important to know. And then what about level of conflict? Low, medium, or high? Will you be able to negotiate in good faith on your own behalf? And then, of course, there's the legal stage. Has a court case been started? Have you or the other person hired a lawyer? Then we get into the goals. First, you want to get a really good understanding about their situation before moving on.
Alex just covered topics you want to cover to find out about their current situation. Next, I segue to the topic of goals with a transition such as, we've been hearing about your current situation. Now, let's switch to what you're hoping for or what your blue sky outcome and goals for this process might be. Please answer in general. We don't have time in this free call to go into details about the position you have on who gets what, just the general destination towards which you're heading. I realize we're not giving you much chance right now to fill in the details for us on this quick information call, but don't worry. If we decide to work together, the first step will be a private, confidential intake session with each of you separately. That will be your chance to provide a lot more detail about your whole story. So, what are your goals? Is reconciliation important to you? Separation? Divorce? These are the sorts of things we might want to find out about. We might want to find out about what sort of closeness they're hoping to have with this relationship moving forward. Parenting, what sort of goals they have there. And there are a number of topics, as you'll see on the image above, that in the toolkit go into more detail with the kinds of questions you can ask.
By the time you get to this point, you'll have gathered enough information from the client to know whether you want to work with them or not. If you're thinking, no, not a good prospect for my skill set, then you may want to go straight to referring them elsewhere. But in most cases, mediation with you is probably something you'll be encouraging them to try. This is a good time to pause before describing the process to let them know that you'd be happy to take them on as clients. You might say, I've been able to decide, but I'm not expecting you to right away. I'd like now to turn to describing the features of mediation so you can make a fully informed decision. Then proceed, of course, to tailoring what you say to only what's relevant to their situation and the goals that they have described. When you dig into this template in your toolkit, you'll be reminded of the many features that make mediation so superior to an adversarial process. We won't go into it too deeply in this course since these are things you've already learned in your mediation training. Some key points are that mediation is non-adversarial. It seeks solutions that both parties can live with. The mediator's role is to act as a neutral third party and facilitate conversations to resolve disputes, but not make decisions. The process itself can be held virtually, in person, or a hybrid of both. And the benefits are that unlike court, the process is confidential and allows clients to get to be the decision makers. The real only major risk is that it breaks down prior to reaching a binding signed agreement. It's flexible because we work at the client's pace, scheduled to their convenience, and the costs are significantly less than going to court or even having a lawyer draft their agreement.
So by the end of the sales call, you may have already indicated whether you feel mediation is appropriate or not. The template in your toolkit goes into a lot of detail on the various options available for next steps, which we'll be exploring more fully in a few minutes. As a final close to your free consultation, your clients will want you to outline next steps. In my process, for example, I say something like, if I hear from both of you that you agree to proceed, I will send you an invoice for a 10-hour retainer. And then once I receive the email transfer, you will receive a welcome letter inviting you to each schedule a private intake session, and then including 2 documents, the agreement to mediate and an intake information form. Before signing off, if time allows, ask if they have any final questions. If time doesn't permit, invite them to follow up via email with questions that may help them decide. It really is important to keep these calls within a 20 to 30 minute time frame. Although Mike tends to go on, remember, we are in the business of making money, and it is expected that the sales call is free, so don't give away too much of your time. Unless the parties are extremely keen, asking great questions, and it works for you. But remember, time is money.
So we've been describing the features of a free consultation, but if you want to see one in action, click here to watch us role play a sales call.
You may experience this resistance before the sales call, or after the sales call, or most awkwardly, during the sales call. The point is, don't be tripped up by it. Instead, prepare for it and expect it, and employ the strategy called a keto approach. Of course, there's a template of this in your toolkit. What you need to know now, and that you'll see in a few minutes in our role play, is that it's all about going with their energy, acknowledging the legitimacy of their concerns rather than pushing back or worse, correcting them. Only then will they be likely to soften and be ready for you to guide them to consider the benefits of mediation. What you're viewing on the screen right now is a list of some of the most frequently heard excuses that people use as reasons not to mediate. And it's usually based on a misunderstanding, quite frankly, of how mediation works. Some good reasons do exist, and it's important to note those, but the ones on your screen and most others aren't. So by providing clear and informative responses, we can help alleviate their concerns and increase their confidence in the mediation process. By addressing resistance and concerns in a thoughtful and respectful manner, we can help potential clients make informed decisions about entering mediation and guide them towards resolving their disputes in a collaborative and efficient way. Your skill as a mediator may first be modeled by your skill in resolving their hesitation to come to the table. We also build trust when we acknowledge situations that are not suitable for mediation. There are a significant number of valid reasons that either party needs to postpone or reject mediation altogether. By demonstrating honesty and a rational, detached perspective, they will actually build more trust with you. Sometimes it's the right process, but the wrong time. We aren't going to go into that list fully here, but take a look at the attached blog written by Mike for a detailed discussion of situations when you would be wise to turn away a potential file. The template in the toolkit shows a script you can use to respond to each of the 14 roadblocks that you're seeing on the screen. We've gone ahead and recorded 3 of them for you to observe and learn from.
You're looking at a flowchart representing the options available to you as a mediator, responding to what you've heard during the free consultation call. It won't take long before you'll work through this rapidly in your head during the free consultation so you can tell them what you recommend. Perhaps at the beginning you'll need to take a little more time to think about and report back on what professions might need to be brought in. If you can, it's best to let clients know right away the approach you think is most appropriate. As usual, the template in the toolkit has a lot more detail on what triggers each option. But here's a quick overview of the options available to you going forward. So look closely at the arrow flowing from the no and yes boxes. Note that no doesn't entirely mean no. It only means no to mediation now. But that's when you can switch hats and offer private conflict and/or communication coaching to help them, perhaps with their adversarial struggle, so that mediation might be right for them later, after time and your services have settled them down. Now, please note that each of the 5 arrows flowing from the yes box is significant. Clockwise from the top left, you have, pointing out from the left, sort of towards 11 o'clock, we have, yup, not only can I mediate it, if you so choose, but I can handle all portions of the agreement without need for other professionals, unless you wish to include them. Next, the arrow up just a little past 12 o'clock says, yes, you can get there through mediation, but I'm not the mediator for you. This could be for any number of possible reasons. For example, a conflict of interest, or perhaps these clients are too high conflict and that doesn't suit your style. The arrow pointing roughly towards 1 o'clock is saying, yes, I'll be your mediator and take on the negotiation piece, but you'll absolutely need legal advice. Given the high level of conflict and/or high level of complexity, you'll need a legal team. The 3 o'clock arrow points to a case that's suitable for mediation, but only with the support of mental health professionals. This could be for one or both parents or kids, might be due to mental health issues, substance abuse issues, abuse, just to name a few. Down at 4 o'clock, we've got a case where you're fine to function as the mediator, but financial complexity and/or financial distrust mean that a specialist will be required to determine support and equalization. I recommend a CDFA, Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, for financial calculations in situations like this because they are neutrals, unlike lawyers, and they have more expertise than most lawyers in financial areas, not to mention a lower hourly rate. Now, moving on from a call that was successful. That is, successful because you, the mediator, are willing to proceed, whether it's with or without other professionals. As always, feel free to do things in a different order in your own practice rather than the one that we use, but we strongly recommend that you include these components in one order or another. Step 1 on the roadmap image you're looking at now is to send a thank you email. We recommend waiting no longer than a day to send after the sales call, inviting them to proceed with you or for them to ask any further questions that might help them to decide. At this point, you might want to refer to the email called Post-Sales Call Invitation to sign on. Step 2. You will, of course, respond promptly to any questions they may have. Be thorough in your response, but careful if they start peppering you with multiple emails. If their questions are specific to your process, fine, give them that information. But if they're picking your brains about ADR and mediation in general, I politely inform them that these questions will be answered when they arise naturally as we work together building their document. Step 3. You've landed the sales call. Now you've heard that both parties agree to proceed. Woo, yippee! This is the moment you've been building to for a long time. So savor it, or at least you will savor it once the e-transfer arrives. That requires you to send a mediation retainer invoice. I send mine normally for a 10-hour retainer, occasionally for 5 hours, depending on financial constraints of the client. You might adjust the invoice template that's in your toolkit to fit a variety of specialized cases, such as a retainer needing fewer hours, or a smaller case, or for folks with cash flow issues, or retainers at a reduced hourly rate if you make adjustments for low-income couples. This could be a good time to hit pause on the course now and look at the retainer invoice provided in your toolkit. Note that the invoice has key ingredients embedded in it: the HST number, a refund guarantee, which is very important, and a detailed method of payment, including e-transfer password. In the next module, we'll be looking at the Excel spreadsheet I created as a docket, which saves my butt on a regular basis by keeping track of the balance on each retainer provided. Step 4 comes after the e-transfer has arrived, and now you can really say hooray. It's sending the welcome letter, which gets the process started now that they are clients. When you check the email template called Steps to Prep the first joint session, you'll notice that this email serves 3 functions. 1, it invites them to book their private, confidential intake session. 2, provides them with a fillable intake form that gives you the demographic information you'll need to populate the background fields in their MOU. Number 3, it includes an agreement to mediate form, or if you're using signing software, it will include instructions on how to proceed upon receipt of it. We especially recommend the signing software if your sessions are hosted online rather than in person. Personally, to prevent delay in getting them to fill out the paperwork, I'll do the private intake sessions, but I won't agree to hold the first joint session until after both parties have emailed all that information. The fillable intake information form and the agreement to mediate are, of course, in your toolkit. Step 5 for me is not something most mediators do. My clients love it though, and I believe it's the way of the future. I send them the MOU in a draft boilerplate version that includes all the sections of the MOU I've been hired to help with. Except for their demographic data, it's purely generic for them to tailor later in our joint sessions. Most important, I send it as a Google Doc and give them commenter privileges so they can make comments in the margins but not edit the actual text. We'll be taking a closer look at this template in the next module, one of the most valuable pieces in the toolkit.
The image you're seeing now is a simplified step-by-step overview of the entire process, from first contact to follow-up after the file is completed. It is, of course, located in your toolkit. We wanted to highlight the key features here to provide you with a high-level summary. At this point in the Launchpad, Module 3, we have covered the first 3 steps that just get you to the beginning of a mediation. Steps 4 to 6 will be covered in more detail in Module 4, but I wanted to briefly touch on them. Step 4. Once mediation is underway, begins with a reminder about safety. This screening is ongoing at all stages, particularly in the private intake session. If you get a sense that there may be something happening behind the scenes, you have a responsibility to follow up. Trust your spidey sense. Early in this part of the process, usually at the first joint session, I determine if an interim agreement to deal with immediate concerns may be beneficial for the clients. Issues such as reconciling interim expenses, the current parenting schedule, housing arrangements for the parties, or costs of maintaining the matrimonial home can be addressed in an interim agreement. The separation agreement mostly covers assets and liabilities acquired during the relationship, but an interim agreement can support the development of the separation agreement by working out some of the issues in principle at the beginning, before the numbers are known, which saves lengthy arguments later when they're faced with more precise financial facts. One final tip regarding the process itself, unless you're a financial expert in complex and high conflict cases, is to hire a financial professional. The precision provided by a financial expert is almost always necessary in cases of high conflict and lets you off the hook. Step 5 comes after the document is completed and includes helping to move the document along, usually first with the lawyers, then in most cases submitting to the courts. As soon as your role is complete, we strongly recommend that you provide the refund immediately. Whether they needed a single retainer invoice or 3, there is always a refund on the balance, unless you've allowed them to go into the negative and then they owe you, which is an error on your part, and we aren't even going to go there. Just don't allow it. You're offering mediation services, not banking. This is where we urge you to request an online review. Don't worry whether it will be 5 stars or not. Google doesn't care about your ranking, provided you respond promptly and politely to any criticism you receive. Step 6 is where you check in with your clients 6 to 8 months down the road. It can be a very effective way of reminding them that you still exist. They may reply with, yes, actually, there are a few things concerning me about the parenting issues. And then you might be invited into another role, perhaps a voice of the child report, or coaching, or mediating a spin-off issue. With respect to networking in the wider world, this is where things come back full circle. In Module 4, we broaden the discussion out towards the other hats you can wear, services you can learn to offer, and the roster of other professionals in the field who, next to Dr. Google, become your primary gatekeeper to refer new cases.
With the overview template Amanda just reviewed, you are getting years of combined trial and error by 3 professional mediators. To be fair, we all run our practices slightly differently, but have narrowed down our method into this one program for you all. Feel free to use this as a jumping off point, but don't hesitate to adjust it as you make it your own. Think of the overviews we've provided as a rubric or a checklist, if you will, from the moment you receive an inquiry right until the end of the process. As you begin working, using our suggestions as a guide, you can be sure that you've covered all of your bases. We encourage you to keep making tweaks along the way as you find the system that works best for you. We hope that you found the What You Say module helpful. The image you're seeing now is just a high-level summary of what we've covered. Remember to refer to your toolkit to review what we've shared in this unit. The templates in the toolkit provide a lot more detail than we were able to cover in the course. It may seem like overkill right now to have all of this in place. Maybe it is right now. But as your practice grows and new questions come to you from left field, we really think you'll find a lot of support in the tools we're providing. We've gone into all of this detail because we're pretty sure that your training up until now especially hasn't taught sales, hasn't taught you how to get new clients, only how to work with them once you've already been hired. So congratulations again on investing in your career and your private practice.